in my house and all, we will not allow the lamp to go out on its own. So we do that ourselves. But then Padmasri says the other way around. No, you have to let the lamp go on its own, out on its own.
Okay.
So we are discussing that.
Okay. Very nice. So the significance of a lamp is that
Yep.
oil represents the karma. The container
Hmm.
represents the vasana. The wick represents the ego. The light represents the consciousness. So now, as the as the lamp starts to burn, in spiritual side, if you were to take, it burns the ego. And in the normal waking life of all beings, it increases the ego. Meaning, say, when we are in the world, it increases the ego that I am so intelligent, or I am doing this, I am doing that, which is also part of the same lamp. So the basically what happens here is that we are here as whatever being in order to exhaust the vasana which is there in that container. So the lesser the vasana, the lesser the container, the lesser is the existence, the bigger is the container, that is the vasanas, the bigger is the existence. Now if the oil runs out, that means the karma runs out. Some vasanas have already been exhausted, but the vasana is still there, so you can refuel that. So from wherever it has stopped, you can again light it, and again starts lighting up. So if we were to put it to our lives, in one life the person might be 100 years, and another life he can be in 50 years and 40 years or 80 years or something like that. So it depends on two factors, one on the vasana and one on the karma. Whereas this lamp having dirt, meaning the wick having some dirt or clarity or whatever it is, for it to burn is created through samskara. So what if that consciousness, which is called as so and so person, which is lighting up as a person, now I can call that as so and so person. So now for convenience sake, I can call it as Vilas or Lata or Padmashri, because we can see the lamp being lit. And the vasana and the samskara and the karma and all of that have taken the five elemental form, gross. So instead of seeing like a 5 elemental form, I see the form as myself. And that is how ego gets projected outside. This is my body, to be very clear about, and then this is my intellect. So spiritually speaking, this is what it looks, and materialistically speaking, it gives light. So knowledge is light. So whatever we learn in this world again requires lamp. So anything that lights, you keep a lamp. So both in all the three traditions, or rather 4 traditions, that is the Hindu tradition and the Jain tradition and the Buddhist tradition and the Sikh tradition, they put a lamp. And the Zoroastrian system, they worship the sun. Okay, and the Hebrew system, I don't know about what they do, but in Christianity they have this candle. So basically almost all the religions of the world believe in lighting a lamp, lighting something. Okay, so in the temple we light a lamp to make the mind get fixated to that object. So if I go to Muruga temple or some other temple, then it's an old temple, let's say, and just complete darkness, that is, my mind is filled with tamas, and then I need a jyoti. So there are two lamp posts, and they put this oil lamp flickering, and it is dark, so it takes some time for you to see the light. The basic idea is to actually see the light with effort. So tamas to sattva is not an easy process, you have to put effort. So that is the way they depict this lamp. So but basic structure of that wick and light and the oil and all of that is karma, samskara, vasanas, and then the consciousness. That's all. So any question?
I have one question. This vasanas, how does it get created? So meaning you do some action once, for example, you do only one time. Then probably it may not be, maybe vasana is not created, probably karma is created, I don't know. So I thought that is it that you do one thing continuously for a long period of time, that's when the vasana is created, or even if you do one time it gets created.
Okay. See, doing something is karma. It has got nothing to do with vasana. So including the spiritual thing, what we are doing, the doingness is the karma. And it has got associated vasana. So we in the past had a vasana of knowing the spiritual awakening or knowledge or wisdom or whatever we wanted to have, each one of us. So we were in search, that is, the vasana starts to move around in search of exhaustion of that, for which it requires the effort, and the effort is provided through karma by the consciousness. So basically the consciousness makes this magical illusion of vasana, samskara, karma to take place with 5 elements. Be it an animal, bird, or any kind of existence, or human, or deva, or brahma, or wherever we have life which takes form, either in a subtle form or in a gross form. But basically these are the 3 things. Now just like Prakriti is infinite, there is no way to find out how this vasana happened in the first place. Whereas we can directly through knowing, that is, we can take this pramana and we have an anumana. So we can create an inference on how samskara and karma happen. Meaning, if I am born in a particular family or a particular religion or a particular tradition, it means that the samskaras matched to what I was looking at. So that is provided because of that vasana which was moving around. And based upon that belief system and other things which happen from my birth onwards, the karma starts to evolve, either of the old karma getting fructified, that is, I have the karma phala, or I undertake new karma depending upon the type of samskaras I am trying to do. So let me cite it with an example, it becomes very easy. Let's say I have a very sensual, lustful experiences in the past life of sight. So I need to find a family which provides me with that kind of environment. So the samskaras of that family should be equivalent to what I am carrying, majority of it. So now whatever is visually appealing should be there. So when I am born in that family, I start getting glued to, let's say, movies, and start understanding the movies from a very young age, which makes other people get surprised that how this child can understand language so vividly. And the prodigies are actually in that way, where the vasana is so strong that it provides the necessary what I can say environment as samskara and karma to start immediately upon taking another birth. So let's say I have the passion in my previous life of singing, and when I'm born, hardly 1 or 2 year old, I start to sing. And if I have the passion for musical instruments, which is sound, so I start doing that immediately upon taking another birth, meaning after taking another set of 5 elements and the previous set of 5 elements getting exhausted, what I'm doing is that I'm continuing that samskara, because it is there, and that samskara is able to manifest immediately because vasanas are just fresh. Now the question comes, why it doesn't happen to everyone? Why only few people have it? For that there is no answer also. That how this vasana stays so fresh in some people and doesn't in some people. Actually speaking, for first 7 years of life, they generally experience the past life experiences. Or so if I can give my son's example. So in 2007, so he was 6-year-old, and I had a colleague who had come from US, and he used to work for US Air Force. So he was a major there, and he had come to our home, and my son knows all the airports of US, which are the defense airports, which are civilian airport, and which aircraft can land there, which bomber can land there, and this and that one. So they both had a nice discussion starting at somewhere around, I brought him to my home at 6 p.m. and it was past 12 that they both are discussing, and then I and my wife had nothing to offer except for giving them some food and drink. Other than that, we both were mute spectator, but they both were enjoying. And my colleague, he was saying that I don't know what is made out of your son, but whatever he has said so far is perfect. Only those people who have worked in US Air Force knows so much of detail about each one of these airports, otherwise a normal person cannot comprehend it. This is one thing which I can say about how the samskaras and karma and the vasana can happen. Another thing I can say is that 2004 we had gone to Sri Lanka. At that time my son age was 3-year-old, and he had a unique ability of remembering the airline names by their symbol. So there was one pilot from Jet Airways. We had flown from Jet Airways to Sri Lanka. So that pilot was there in the bus. So we were going from one terminal to another terminal, and my son started explaining about the cockpit, and this pilot got interested, and he started asking him questions, and he started explaining all that is there in the cockpit, having not seen the cockpit for himself. And then getting interested, once we entered the flight, he took him inside and showed him everything about cockpit, and then He was very happy. My son was very happy. Now, if I based upon that, there is in our building there is a pilot. So he works for Indigo. Earlier he was working in US and he quit and he wanted to do pilot and he came back here. So looking at my son's interest on becoming a pilot, so he started giving him a lot of details. So they both used to discuss, and one of my ex-colleague, he gifted my son Microsoft Flight Simulator so that he can really learn how to fly. And this stayed with him for until age 9, and suddenly that evaporated. Now this guy is not a pilot at present, he is an Ayurvedic guy. So I have seen it transforming like that. So if we see within our own children or your children or within your own families, you will be able to see how this vasanas get exhausted, and the another set of vasanas arrive, and that create an environment which then generates the samskaras, and those samskaras will then become karma.
Yeah, so then so vasanas are things which we are born with.
Yes.
So that stays, and then are we able to create new vasanas in the current life?
Yes, we keep on doing like you had asked one question. And if we were to do one thing again and again and again, that creates the necessary condition for samskaras to mature. And those samskaras will then become part of vasana. So we create those kind of vasana.
So, okay, so that means somebody who's not at all spiritual, if you continuously keep on doing and hearing and so on and so forth, then that vasanas will get created.
Yes, in one of the life, that spirituality will enter.
Okay. So in one life, only some set of vasanas are
Exhausted.
allotted, or it can happen. It is already decided at birth. These are the vasanas which will come, or it is open.
No, nothing is determined at birth. It is completely land of possibilities. But a set
okay, so whatever you have a set of vasanas, anything can manifest.
Yes, and that is where the free will is.
That is the concept of free will, right?
Yes, that is what I wanted to tell about free will.
Exactly, I was telling the same thing. I was telling the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, if it is already predetermined, there's nothing called free will. Though you can't use anything, right?
Yeah. So, okay, so but in every life, you are born with some set of personalities, characteristics. Okay, some kind of environmental thing will be there, upbringing will be there, but then there are some set of things which you are born with.
Correct.
Some set of personality characteristics. Okay, and that I don't think it changes much over a period of time, unless and until something big happens. So
I just thought, see, for that matter, you have got many examples like that. Valmiki, if you take, if the beginning, I don't know if anybody had seen Valmiki as a child, nobody would have even imagined that he would come up with Ramayana. So from that perspective, if you see you also talk about Arunagirinathar.
Yes.
So it is very difficult to find out. So I don't know. I have a feeling that it's all there, and then there is a free will. And when that free will, what I exercise during that free will is something which is guided. Is what I feel. I don't know.
See, once
meaning when there is a free will, I choose something, right? I choose something that is guided. Guided is what I feel.
See, it is like this. You are on a boat. You have this raft. You have this rowing. Those thing which can row.
Paddle.
Yeah, paddle, and there is something to steer, right? So you can steer on the right or you can steer on the left. That steering is what the free will is. You can either steer towards one side and you start getting those samskaras and vasanas and karma, or vasana, karma, samskara and karma. And then you can steer.
But why do I choose to steer that side? Meaning,
That is the
we
free
know
will.
that steering one side is one set of vasanas. Steering the other side is another set of vasanas. Going backwards is another set of vasanas. So the direction where we are steering gives us the free will. But
Yes.
why do I choose what I choose?
Why do you choose to, why to choose is because it's all about exhaustion. You have to exhaust the energy. So you choose. And that is what the free will is all about. It's only about choice. You make.
So, yeah, but actually what you choose is whatever is more stronger in your vasana.
We can also put it like that, but when we put it like that, it becomes deterministic. That means it is already predetermined. So people
Yeah, correct. But then if you have that kind of power to overcome it and then do something else, right? That's also possible.
Yes, that's also possible, and that is what this liberation from karma bandhana is all about. If there is now not overpowering, that is, if you can't use the consciousness to overpower, then nothing else can, because everything is consciousness anyway, in whichever sense we take it. So if everything becomes deterministic, that means you cannot really take any free will action, then there ends it, because everything is vasana. So we'll say the strongest of the vasana will take over. So that decision happened because of vasana, and the decision also couldn't happen also because of vasana. So then we are stuck in vasana only, because there is nothing else we know. So it doesn't work that way. It is a complete possibilities of permutation combinations which we cannot even think about. So we have lot of permutation combinations, but at every permutation combination, a different set of samskara and karma will come into play. So let's forget vasana for time being, otherwise it gets thoroughly confusing. So as I select something, like I have selected as an example not to work as an employee. So I've selected, meaning I have decided. So this decision making is the free will. It doesn't mean that I will not get a job. It's that I have decided not to do it, let's say. Now this decision gets into creating a different kind of samskaras and karma, which I need to encounter. I can't really say I will do this as well as that. That's not possible. So just like the opportunity cost, you take one and other one is removed. So the nature itself does it for us. So if I choose one, the other one is gone. So I cannot have all of them coming together. It is not possible. So presently as I speak, I don't have any intention of joining an organization and work. That doesn't mean that I will not at all be doing it. If a situation so comes compelling where I need to go to a job, and then I have to decide, right? So that decision is based upon a set of vasana which is going to come into existence. If I can overpower it, meaning to say that I'll still stick on to it, and then because of that sticking on to the decision of not working, I will then encounter a different set of samskaras and vasana and karma, which are totally different than what it was earlier, because I have now made the decision to steer the boat in the way I want to steer. So now I have decided. So this consciousness as an individual has decided to go ahead with whatever decision it has made. And as a consequence of that, that set of vasanas get manifested. So it goes in loop. So the best way for any person is to just observe rather than reacting to it, and then all the three will drop off: the vasana, the samskara, and the karma. Otherwise this is a cyclical, and that's the reason it's called samsara.
Yeah, you will never be able to exhaust the vasanas.
No way, you cannot exhaust. You can only make it unproductive, but you cannot make it completely zero.
So that means the prarabdha karma also is changeable.
Prarabdha karma normally is the body, nothing to do with what you are doing today. See, the main confusion we have on the prarabdha is that we take everything as prarabdha. And there are a lot of theories to say that this is prarabdha, so this will go throughout this life, and then you have the sanchita, and then that comes to the next life, and all. There's so many theories related to whatever it is. But in simple, if you were to take the type of the body you are supposed to get, and the type of pain and things, what should that means the pain you on the body you have to undergo, and the pleasure you have to undergo on the body is almost all of it is your prarabdha karma. That is, when I say that, the size, the height of my body, of this body, the texture of this body, the what organ should be working in full potential and what organ shouldn't be working in full potential, all of those are conditioned by the prarabdha karma. Because I have taken the body from somebody else on loan basis, that is the mother. So whatever her karma is there, that gets added into this body. What she eats is perfectly coinciding with what this body is made up of. So if she eats something and that gets manifested, and why it got manifested in that way? Because of my prarabdha. Now once I am out of the womb, the body suffering I am going to undergo, and the body pleasure I am going to undergo. That is, I can do many things with my body. I can stretch my body, I can go fasting for a few days, I can jog, I can jump around, and I'm tall or fair or handsome or beautiful or whatever it is. It's all part of the prarabdha. So in this body, till death, we undergo this pain and pleasure cycle, which is total prarabdha. So same food eaten by another person doesn't get a diarrhea kind of condition. The same food eaten by me creates a diarrhea kind of condition because of my prarabdha karma. Because all the suffering and the pleasure of five senses have to be undergone through the body. So generally body is prarabdha.
Okay, but what about the intellect? So intellect is also determined by some prarabdha karma only, right?
So,
the amount of intellect.
So 100% or almost 95 plus percentage we spoke about the body. Then comes the buddhi, intellect. Intellect is also dependent on the past samskaras, not only karma, the past samskaras and the vasana associated with it. It is not only karma based. It is vasana and samskara based intellect. Okay. Now, a person can be in 5 states of buddhi, and that shows up in the mind, manas. So one might be in the mudha, another time he can be in kshipta, then vikshipta, then ekagrata, then niruddha. So these 5 states are representative of the samskaras and the vasana, which create a necessary ground for karma to operate. So it need not be prarabdha alone. It is a combination of the past prarabdha plus the sanchita, what he wanted to become in this life, what he had thought. The becoming has to be there. Let's say in this life I have not earned much money, and next life I'm yearning to earn more and more money and make some good amount of properties and all of that. And every moment I'm praying to God, you've not done this, I should have. So that becoming is a sanchita karma. So these two combination creates the necessary vasanas to operate. So if that vasana is not there, even though I have asked for it, I might not get it. Depending upon the papa and punya what I have made in the prarabdha and the sanchita, I will be getting the buddhi, which is can be an intellectual person or a non-intellectual person. That means a dullard or an average person. So it all depends on that. So the body is fully, almost entirely onto the prarabdha, whereas the intellect is partially prarabdha, partially sanchita. And using the, yeah, go ahead, Yalata.
Yeah, so we also, if body is completely prarabdha, we also talked about the mind in influencing the body, right? So if you have some thoughts and if you have some kind of negative thoughts and it manifests the diseases in our body. So is mind also a prarabdha?
See, mind is made out of consciousness also. That is the witness.
Yeah, it's a combination.
It's a combination. Yeah. So the only thing you can change ever is the mind.
Yeah.
And that is the reason the Patanjali Yoga Sutra starts with Atha Yoga Anushasanam. That is how you can get into Samatva, for which he says Yogaha Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That is only this one you can do. That is, make the chittas totally stabilized. So your prarabdha karmas continue. That is, the body aches and pain, like Ramana Maharshi, or in the case of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who suffered cancer because of prarabdha. That cannot be eliminated, but the mind can be withdrawn from that. So whatever is the set of mind you have taken, like in the case of Valmiki, what Padmashri was saying, the mind was of a destructive in the case of Valmiki. Then due to one Brahmin who made him see reality, he then changed not the body, he then changed his mindset. That's the only thing you can change, irrespective of whether it is vasana or samskara or karma or whatever. When the mind itself changes, it makes everything inoperative. That is, the samskaras and the vasana and the karma becomes inoperative. So you are going to encounter the problem of the physical for sure, because that is what you are supposed to get. But the reaction to that no longer exists because the mind is devoid of that. So mind becomes pure consciousness. And this 14th chapter, what we are also talking about, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, will remove the personality view in us, that I exist. So when that I doesn't exist in the mind, you will get out of this personality view itself. And because there is no personality view, you don't care much about the prarabdha karma. You will endure the pain. So you are released from the pain, because the samskaras and the karma and vasana, they can never be exhausted, can never be made zero. But through mind, you can disconnect them. So in the Bhagvadgita verse, he says Manas is the friend and Manas itself is the enemy. So when the mind is defiled with all kleshas possible, then it creates furthermore samskaras and karma and vasana. When the mind is removed out of that kind of thought process, then the same vasana, karma, samskara don't operate any longer, because it has to operate on the mind, but it will operate on the body for sure, because body is made out of mind. But because body is made out of mind, and mind already had a defilements before coming on outside the womb, So all the pains, bodily aches and pains, and the tribulation one has to undergo will still undergo, no matter whether he is a spiritual person or not.
Yeah, so all these vasanas, samskaras, and karmas are all kind of energy vibrations, right?
Yes,
It is stored as kind of
yes. So
energy vibration.
yes.
So when your mind disconnects from those vasanas and karmas or whatever, you will be having so much of those energy vibrations around you. So will that get dissipated, or it just floats around somewhere without any
No, it is
those
like
energy?
there is a concept called Akashic records. I don't know whether you've heard it
Yes,
or not.
I have heard it. Yes.
Okay, so that is what the whole samskara, vasana, karma is all about. You will become something based upon that. So they don't operate any longer, meaning you are able to access perfectly, so you know what is going to happen as a consequence of it, because your mind is pure. So they don't cause problem in the mind, they will cause problem in the body. Let's say I am going for a walk, and then like last time how it happened, which I had explained to you. So the before my spiritual thing and now is that when I fell down, I did not react, whereas earlier I had the reaction. So if I were to look why did I fall and why another person did not fall, is that the condition became right for me to have a fall. So the pain has to be endured at that point in time because it matured. That karma matured. So when it matures, it gives you the fruit. So maybe some time ago, I would have done the same thing to someone, and then that environment got created, so I had a fall. Now, I would have cursed somebody who has put that thing for me to fall. Instead, I chose not to react. It means that I am cutting that karma and samskara and the vasana at the root, because there is no reaction to it. So if I am able to see it in every action, whatever I am doing, and if there is a body ache and fever and all kind of diseases manifesting, it's not that I am manifesting that disease. They are coming out of this Akashic records, where these 5 elements automatically change based upon what should be coming forth. So the diseases get manifested accordingly, because I'm supposed to get that, but I can withdraw the mind from that action. So mind is the one which will get liberated. Basically, that's what I'm trying to do. It's not the body which gets liberated. Body don't have to get liberated. It is automatically liberated once the consciousness goes away. So the mind has to get liberated. So the moment I stop reacting to it and observe the pain as pain, and don't personalize the pain as my pain, then it's done. So I have removed the prarabdha karma from the mind. See, Lata, another thing we need to observe is when we go to a restaurant, let's say, all the people in the restaurant are eating, but only few people will get stomachache or fever or something happening. Even today, with corona being there, not all of us have got corona.
Correct.
So it is all based upon the prarabdha karma. What should appear to you from the Akashic records is prarabdha. But what you want to do with that is the free will.
Yeah, so once you get liberated, whatever are the vasanas and whatever it is, that still exists in the Akashic records.
But it is not going to do anything to your mind.
Yeah, that is fine. So your mind is not there anymore. So that is, but still they are hanging somewhere.
No, they remain as is. See, it is like the cloud drive. You can access the cloud drive. It is all read-only drive. You cannot go and change it. See, the past life also you will get it, you are able to access it if you are able to get hold of the cloud drive, and this cloud drive is called as Akashic records. It is just Akasha, and all our thoughts and boundaries and vasanas and samskaras and karma are written in Akasha, meaning our, in the sense that this consciousness which has taken itself as an individual reality, that is writing every moment of its existence what it is doing, so that it can access it in future. So it creates a past impression, so we are able to go back to the past, what I was doing 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago and 100 years ago, whatever, and I am projecting a future what I will be doing in the future. So this gets represented in Akash. Okay, so when the mind becomes pure space or infinite space, so this we have spoken about the meditation. So when we get into the fifth state of meditation, which is infinite space, if you are able to stay in that for a long period of time, you can access your past records in read-only mode. So you'll automatically start getting images of what you were doing in your past existence, because consciousness is able to bring all the records from the past. So I will be narrating that, you know what I was doing at that time, at that age, and at that time frame, or in this kingdom, or that one, or that other one, whatever it was made available. But certainly I cannot go and change it. I cannot go and I cannot delete the record, but I can access the record. So that is infinite space. So now you see space beyond the dimension what we see. The dimension of space what we see is whatever this body is existing. That's a space. And what that lady who had that brain tumor thing, she lost the dimension of space, so she found herself in an infinite space, because there is no end to it, right? So then the Prithvi, Apo, Vayu, Tejo becomes same of you, that is myself sitting on this, and the chair and the floor and the building, and all of that becomes one. I lose the dimension of this boundary, so this boundary no longer exists, and because of that my mind gets into this infinite space. So when I get into infinite space, the records are also infinite, because now the consciousness that is next one in the meditation, the seventh one, is infinite consciousness, when in this consciousness can now pick up any record immediately of any life, because now it can access, because it has become infinite space. So in that I can see what I was doing in the past. So all the past impressions are seen, all the present impressions are seen, and the future is never seen, because the future is yet to happen. And the future is nothing but the free will plus what is applicable, available in the Akashic records. So once a decision is made to do like this, those records become accessible, and we start doing that, which in some way looks very much deterministic. That way you cannot change. And it is true, because once I choose, those things will come, those records will start to flow. So that again becomes a past impression. So all the past is nothing but what has happened in the Akash. So that is where we get this permutation and combination from the Akash.
Okay.
So that is how our prarabdha and sanchita and agami works.
So actually, when you want to choose a next life, if you are in some kind of already a spiritual maturity, so you look at this Akashic records and then choose according to that.
Yes. Yes. Now you can make a determination what you want to become.
Mm. And that's why there are some, like Sadhguru, he has been telling for the last 5 years. So last 5 lives, he has been doing more or less the same thing. And anyway, he's not planning to come the next time,
Hmm.
right? So this is the last life. That's what he says. And then he also says that for 80 years, his energy will be here.
Hmm.
Next 80 years.
Hmm.
So he is able to see it and then make a decision and make it happen like that.
Correct.
Okay. So if so such kind of people, if they want, they can come. If they, then how do they decide they want to come, and then how does they forcibly take some prarabdha karma even if they don't want to?
No, it's not like that. It doesn't work that way. See, it's all about the free will. So when the person makes a free will that I will come back, so it will create necessary conditions, samskaras and karma for that to happen. So vasanas will get accordingly created.
Okay. So you will for it, and then it creates and then
Yeah,
comes.
because now you are able to see what life you want to have. So some people can access and say that, okay, now I am this, so I will become this in the future. So they can even say 130 years from today, I will be reborn as so and so person. Because they're able to see how this is moving. Meaning they are able to access their next life information sitting right here.
Yeah, so that is what is the Buddhist lamas. So they say, they'll be born
Yes.
somewhere, and those people will go around searching for kids which having some signs and all that.
Correct. So in the Vajrayana tradition, they have that. That is nothing but accessing that record and saying that I will be born in so and so place, and this will be my parent, and this will be my lineage, and this is what I will be in that life. So you come and pick me up.
So, but what is the physical signs they look for? No, they look for some kind of signs.
There are around.
So is that valid?
Yeah, it is valid. There are 49 signs which are represented in this Vajrayana Buddhism, out of which at least 50% should match. That, like the robes what the person was wearing, and the beads, and the place, and the food, and the utensils that person was having, and all of that. And then he should be able to remember his past parents, and he should be able to say what he was in the past, and all of that information creates the necessary condition. So in Sikkim there is a lake where these lamas will go and seek for information, and that lake will then open up and say that this person is born in so and so place. And also in the Tibet region, there is a lake called as Namso Lake. So if you're going from Lhasa to Shigatse, you get this lake. So there again, they can these lamas will ask where this child is, where this lama is born. So let us say Dalai Lama, the 14th one. So the 13th one, when he died. So they went and asked where this 14th one is born. So that lake will give them clue where to search for. So then they go and search. And that's the reason across Himalayas they put the prayer flags near the lakes.
So, but how does the lake give the information?
It's
actually from their own mind only, no?
Yes, the lake is the mind. So what happens is, when you stand in front of the lake, since the lake doesn't, in the Himalayan region, the lakes doesn't shake much. So you start staring at the lake, and then this person, the future lamas, will be imprinted through the Akashic record. So they can see where this boy is at present and what is he doing right now.
Okay.
So then they go in search of him.
So those people who are going and asking in the lake or standing in front of the lake also will be pretty advanced. Then only we should be able to
They
find
are
out.
advanced. They are advanced. They are really advanced. Actually, when I was in Ladakh, there are caves called as Saspol caves. In fact, if we were to go to Ladakh once, I can show all the places where you can sit and meditate, and you can get a beautiful vibrations. You will be zapped with the amount of energy you can generate. So let's hope that happens. If not going to Manasarovar, what we had planned, at least we can go here. So then I can take you to all the monasteries where I can tell you what you need to meditate to get what kind of energy, and you can try it out. In that, we had gone to the Saspol caves. In Saspol caves, it's on a high mountain kind, and then there are caves where you can go and sit. Generally, what people do there is that when you sit, they will close the entrance through a boulder, and the person sits there for 3 years, never coming out. So I can take you to those caves. You can sit there.
Okay.
So
that's good. Interesting.
Yeah, in that way, I'm very fortunate in this life to have visited all of these places. Or rather, I can say that is the samskara what I've created.
Yeah, okay. So then you will be able to sense different energies of different saints and lamas and all there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yes, I don't know whether I shared this or not with you. That 2017 I had gone with my friends' family and their friends and their family. So my partner in Leh here also joined, and he and I sit and meet. I think I shared with you that my partner's son had died and had gone there. I think I told you that.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, 2017 we had gone to, along with this tourist, not 2017, 2018. So in April we had gone there. So he also wanted to join. So my partner and myself and these 10 guests. So we went to one monastery near Nubra Valley, which is after Khardungla Pass, and then we went to this monastery called the Dixit Monastery. So in this monastery, I had never been to inside the monastery. Inside there is a big Buddha statue, the future Buddha, it is Maitreya Buddha, but then there is a temple inside, and I had never visited that in all these years of being there. So since my partner was there, so he went inside, and then he said, can I bring the guest here? And they said, no problem, you can bring your guest. And my partner started explaining to him that this person knows Buddha's teaching and he knows Vajrayana and all that. So then he looked at me, that Lama looked at me, and then he said, I know. He said to him in the Tibetan or Ladakhi language that he is already a Lama, so I don't have to talk about him. So I know he is a Lama. So what he did was really extraordinary. He made me sit in a separate place, saying that you can't sit with this guest. You have to sit in a different place. So he made me sit somewhere else. And he spent some time with me, and then we exchanged greetings, and I went. And all of my friend and his friends were really shocked at how come this Lama knows that I am a Lama in the past. So that was one of the experience what I had in that region. And it was so
Okay.
overwhelming because I was sitting in a separate place, okay, enjoying the writings what was there, and was actually I started explaining what those artifacts are. So this Lama was saying that yeah, he knows all of it. So I don't have any doubt. So you don't have to explain to me that he knows everything, because I know he knows everything.
Hmm. Okay, so you also would have been a Lama in the past.
Yeah. In fact, I had one vision while I was in the flight, which I shared with my partner, that we both are in Tibet and he moves away, and then I'm waiting for him and I never meet him. And then now it's started to manifest that I'm meeting now and all that. And then when I got down, because this guy I never knew, whom I been interacting, he is more than a friend, and we keep on talking about spirituality, we do meditation together and all that. But when I met him in 2014, I was not from a travel agency, nothing. I had, he also didn't know, I also didn't know. So it so happened that when I first met him, or he first met me, or we both met each other, it never looked like we both have never met earlier.
Okay.
Okay, and it was so nice as a experience that in that 12 days of my stay in Ladakh, he took care of me in every given aspect, from food to shelter to making me stay in big hotels to giving me a car and making me go around Ladakh without asking me to pay a single rupee. And he also was surprised that why did he do that for me alone, because there are so many travel agents who come. So from that time onwards, we've been so close, and I started explaining him about what is Buddha teaching, and in his office also I do that. So whenever I go to lay in the office, and then we do meditation session for the staff, then I explain about how you can experience the meditation and what Buddha said and what is Vajrayana, how you can do it, all of that. And he had taken me to this Buddhist studies. There is a institute. So there it seemed as though I have read all of this. It never looked like this is alien to me. So it's nice in that way. If I were to, so this vision made that surety or that experience possible, that we both have been known in the past. So even today, with all of these years, so now this will be the 7th year of knowing each other this April. And I know his family, and I've been in the most troubled times, and we have been meditating, helping him in every given direction. And he also helps me a lot. So it's surprising, because if I could have said it is very good if he was from software field, or he's from a company where I had worked in the past or something. This profession itself is totally different, and religion is totally different, and the tradition is different, everything is different, there's nothing which tallies. But it looks so connected. Even when I was in Sikkim, I had gone to a monastery in called Dubdi Monastery. There also I had a similar kind of experience, and especially in the year 2012 when I had gone to Bhutan. So there I had an extraordinary experience of the Tiger Nest climb, and there I met these Bhutanese nuns, and we have spent closely around 4 hours with meditation, discussion, and all that. I never felt even once exhausted or tired of doing that, and had a beautiful experience of meditation wherein your body starts vibrating so violently. So what it really shows is that in some of my past, which the samskara, vasana, whatever that combination is, I am being born in a Himalayan region. Because another thing very fascinating is when I land in Leh, it is at 11,000 feet and I don't feel anything at all. So I start immediately going to office and working and all that. I never feel exhausted, tired, or breathlessness, or all of that high altitude thing which happens to a normal person. I don't feel anything like that. And most of the locals over there, where I do this polo festival and all that, they consider me to be a local person more than an outsider. So I've also learned some of the Ladakhi. So it is very nice to interact in their local language and dialect. So they feel so connected, and all the people over there feel very much connected, including the airport staff. So it's fun.
Yes, interesting.
But that kind of experience I've never got down in the south.
So now you have to have enough, what do you say, ability to see the past, so that we should also be able to say where you met us.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing.
Met us in the past.
Yeah, that should happen. Only thing is that I'm just waiting for that wow moment to happen. At least it happened once with Sri Hari being there. I don't know when that next turning point is going to be.
Yeah. Otherwise, one of us only should find out.
Either way, no, even when the mind is stilled, the consciousness can go and pick up that record. That is for sure. So the vasanas are always there.
If one of us have to find out Lata, it will be you only.
Yeah, I don't think so. My mind is not that pure to see that. It will take some more time probably.
No, Lata, if you make this comment, then Padma Shri has an answer. She says, if you yourself don't have this, then you forget about me.
No, I was not thinking that, but when you said it, I feel it is true.
Yeah, actually for the last 3 days, from 3 days, when I wake up in the morning, I told you, right, Vilas, I saw this moon colored flowers.
Correct.
On the ceiling covered.
Yes.
So nowadays, whenever I wake up in the morning, when you are sleeping, when you open your eyes, the first thing you see is the ceiling.
Correct.
Then you see that moon colored light patterns. It is there for 5-10 minutes. And I keep looking at it, and then it fades away and goes. The last 3 days continuously I am seeing it.
Oh, that's nice.
Full it is covered. The complete ceiling is lighted up.
Oh.
It is clear. You are the one who has to see if it is on the mountain.
I don't know what that is also. No? The first time when I saw that, first it was a blue light I used to see. That was never, it is not like when I was opening from the sleep. Even otherwise, I was just lying down to sleep. The full ceiling was lighted up. Now it's blue. And one pink ruby kind in the middle. I was so fascinated and I was just looking, and first time I got scared. Oh, what is this stuff? So, but then every day in the morning around 3:30 or something is when I wake up and then I see this.
Good, enjoy whatever you see, you enjoy.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yes.
That is what you can do. Okay, it is already 9:41.
9:45.
Yeah, 41.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So then we will
Okay, thank you.
about
Thank you.
tomorrow then.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay then. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.